take salt out of the ocean water and turn the deserts green. If you realize, if you look at a map of the world with the chlorophyll, and I'll send you a copy of this map, it's very interesting, you'll see that only 11% of the world's land surface is now used for agriculture. And you could quadruple agricultural land without destroying any more nature simply by turning the deserts green. And the free energy technology would also allow you to, for example, turn northern Canada and Antarctica into warm farmland or natural parks, where it's now a frozen desert. And they blocked it. These projects were stopped. The bonds were physically seized by members of the P2 Freemason Lodge in Italy. And the investigative trail, and these people were followed, the people who seized the bonds, this includes a Daniel Del Bosco, were followed 24 hours a day by the CIA and the NSA and other people, and the trail led to the Agnelli brothers of the Fiat, and then from there it led to the Italian royal family, and from there it led to the Black Pope, the head of the Jesuits, and from there it led to the Bilderbergers. And so you find this committee of self-appointed aristocrats saying, hey, we decide the future of the planet. We decide how the world's people spend their money, even though the money belonged to the Chinese and the Japanese. And this is the fight that we've been involved in. And then if you follow back, you realize that this battle over control of the world's money was responsible for World War I, World War II, and that the people who had the control, they faked the Cold War. The whole thing was a staged phony. And then their next big theme was the so-called war on terrorism, except that they were losing control. They couldn't control the global dialogue anymore. People weren't believing them. They were losing control. This is what's happening. This group of self-appointed plutocrats, these aristocrats, and I'm talking about people like Queen Beatrix of Holland. I'm talking about, Joseph Ackerman, the head of Deutsche Bank, David Rockefeller, Henry Kissinger, Baron Pleisen. All of these people who thought they were the secret rulers of the planet are suddenly finding themselves exposed. And we're saying, hey, wait a minute, you don't have the right to control the future of the planet. You didn't earn it. It's not yours. You stole it. And you've kept it through murder and lies and wars and bribery and crime. And you're criminals. You're gangsters. And you shouldn't be in charge of this planet. This is the situation we find ourselves dealing with. And it's a historically unprecedented, situation we find ourselves in. But basically, what we're going to have to do over the coming years is reconstruct the architecture that has been used in this planet since World War II. Think about it. The IMF, the International Monetary Fund, has always been run by a European. Even though Europeans are only, including North Americans, are only 17% of the world's population, and they don't have the money. And they have a horrible track record. The IMF has been evil. I put it quite simply. Look at the case of Malawi, for example. They told the government there that they couldn't give fertilizer to farmers, and then they found out that the government was buying grain in case of a bad harvest. Said, no, you must sell that grain and pay off a bank loan with a 50% annual interest rate. And then, when the next year they had a bad harvest, the people started starving to death because of the IMF. Okay? They're murderers, pure and simple. Sure. They don't help countries. They help steal resources from the world on behalf of major corporations controlled by these oligarchs, who are nasty people, I may want to add.
Well,
and they're about to, we're saying, quite simply, it's not your money, and you've been very bad people, and you don't deserve to rule the planet, and we don't subscribe to your apocalyptic vision of a war between Gog and Magog and the killing of 90% of humanity, and we want you to hand over the keys. And in fact, we physically seized the code books they need to create money. This is a very, very unprecedented situation at the very highest levels of global power. A lot of people in the Pentagon are with us. A lot of people in China, all over the world. It's like, yes, Thank God we get these people off our backs. And what they've been doing is they've been using nuclear blackmail to try to prevent their loss of power. And I have this from my source at the Japanese military intelligence, okay? And I won't name him because his life will be in danger, but I can prove it in the court of law. I can get his testimony behind the scenes for a judge, okay? Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, the Prime Minister, phoned Prime Minister Naoto Kan of Japan last week and threatened, he said, that Israeli security company was in charge of security at many Japanese nuclear plants, and he threatened a nuclear holocaust in Japan unless we handed over the code books back to these Sabbatarian heretics. Okay?
Who actually had the code books?
Nuclear blackmail by Israel against Japan. I'm making it public.
They've been doing it for decades.
And I'll stand by these words in any court you choose. Okay, Mr. Netanyahu? I know you're hiding in your nuclear shelter right now in Israel. Maybe you have a guilty conscience. You think maybe you're not the only person on the planet with a nuclear weapon?
Yeah, they've been. I've got the U.S. Air Force.
These people are insane.
I've got the Air Force white paper that explains Zionist Israeli thermonuclear blackmail going back decades, and you're 100% right. Mordecai Vanunu, the heroic physicist, nuclear scientist in Israel, got out of prison, said the same thing, and they put him right back in prison where he is right now. Be back in just a minute. Hang on, Ben. Hold on.
These people, they have to...
cholesterol, irregular heartbeat, or clogged arteries. There is a solution that doesn't involve expensive prescription drugs that only mask the problem and leave you with horrible side effects. If you are ready to live your life free of sickness, pain, and fear, live your life with increased vitality, energy, and youthfulness, and experience your body healing itself, then you're ready for Heart and Body Extract from Healthy Hearts Club. Heart and Body Extract has a 23-year proven track record of using certified organic herbs that make up an excellent formula to balance and support the heart and circulatory system. In as little as 2 weeks, you can feel amazing results when your 2-month supply of Heart and Body Extract today. Call 1-866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
Have you ever had a conversation with someone and couldn't think of a word to describe something very simple? Hi, this is Jeff Rense, and I want to tell you about a new discovery that can improve the health of your brain. It's called Prevagen. Think about how important your brain is. It controls everything you do, your ability to think, concentrate, and to remember things. We all lose brain cells as we grow older because proteins in the brain that are responsible for keeping the cells alive start to diminish as we age. The good news is that scientists have recently discovered an all-natural replacement for these proteins in a species of jellyfish. Researchers have shown this protective protein increases brain cell survival by up to 50% and improves memory. So I urge you to try Prevagen. Call 1-888-859-6463. That's 888-859-6463. Listeners outside the U.S. can find Prevagen at swansonvitamins.com.
Prevagen. Clearer thinking.
Are you prepared for the future? Do you know how to navigate past the upcoming dangers before it's too late and seize budding opportunities before others do? Forecasting worldwide since 1980, Gerald Celente, publisher of the Trends Journal, provides timely and accurate trend forecasts that have earned him the reputation as the most trusted name in trends. The proof is in the hundreds of accurate forecasts Celente has made over the past 30 years. The 1987 stock market crash, the clean food trend, the dot-com bust, the gold bull run, the 2008 credit crisis, and now the crash of 2010. The Trends Journal alerts subscribers to early, subtle signs of crucial trends that will shape our future. It allows readers to anticipate change, recognize the implications, and take proactive strategies. Put your money where your mind is with Gerald Celente's brilliant and indispensable Trends Journal. Go to trendsjournal.com or call 845-331-3500. That's 845-331-3500. Okay, and back with Ben Fulford, looking at the world as it is. You mentioned turning the deserts green. That's exactly what Muammar Gaddafi was and is doing with his incredible water project for the people, turning southeastern Libya into the breadbasket of North Africa.
The reason they're attacking him is because he set up a gold-backed financial system, and he gave gold to all the African countries and said, hey, you know, we'll sell you oil and we'll help you develop. And he said to the French and the British and the Italians, well, if you want to buy oil from us, you've got to use a gold-backed currency.
Right.
And, of course, they don't have any gold because all they have is paper. You know, and then he said, hey, you know, your paper is worthless. It's not backed by anything. And so they said, okay, in that case, we'll steal your oil. And they set up this fake, you know, so-called independence army, you know, and it's
well, all of the protesters, it was organized, paid for.
It's absurd at this point. They don't even pretend to have you know, the right on their side anymore. It's gone to, look, right now, the leadership of the world is in a state of chaos and confusion. They've never been in a situation like this before. The people who thought they were gods and the god kings and they'd be running this planet as they wished for 300 years suddenly find themselves in unknown territory. And we have to tread very carefully because the fact of the matter is that we have an international banking system. And if we just pull the plug on it, there would be mass starvation, a collapse of civilization, and all sorts of trouble. On the other hand, we don't want it under the control of a bunch of religious genocidal fanatics who want to kill 90% of humanity. So we have to start a transition. And I believe this should be a public process, not something done in secret behind closed doors by groups of oligarchs. And we need to set up a transparent, fair financial system where the people of the planet can say, you know what, 5 years from now I'd like the planet Earth to be like this. 100 years from now I want it to be like this. And then you can have all these experts find actual ways to make these dreams come true. This is the kind of financial system we need, where anybody who wants to can take the exam and the people, the agencies that control the money. It wouldn't be something where you're born into a family that does it just because they've always done it. This is a system we're trying to set up. We want to set up an international economic planning agency that would come up with ways to turn the deserts green, to fill the oceans with fish, to develop space in a peaceful manner, and do it in a way that makes sense. So in other words, we need to take control of the process of deciding humanity's future away from these fanatics. And that's what the battle has been about. That's what was behind the Lehman crisis.
Right.
This is what's behind the Greek crisis. This is what's behind the Libyan attack and everything else.
People ask me, Ben, people ask me if I would kindly ask you, this is common, I don't usually ask you, but let me just put it on the table again. What happened to the people that you were in contact with who had I think it was 10,000 ninjas, and they were deciding or trying to figure out, should we just go and kill them all and get rid of the planet's evil in one fell swoop or a quick one and save the lives of hundreds of millions of people?
Well, okay, yeah, you've mentioned it before, and I did say to them they should just go and they should arrest 2,000 people. And the answer came back was that they only had the technical capability of getting about 200 people, and that doing so would trigger World War III, which is not a desirable solution. Unfortunately, we've been dealing with a hostage situation. These people control nuclear weapons and earthquake machines, and they can spread, biological diseases. So, unfortunately, it wasn't that easy. And what's happened instead is it's a long, drawn-out hostage crisis where, neither side can just go out and, they both have an equal amount of violence available to